See. All right, so I got a question for you, Warren.
Yeah,
When is the album coming out, bro? When is the album coming out? Like,
No
is there a
cap.
new album coming out? I'm interested.
that's a great question. So for all of y'all wondering who are watching the video right now, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Here's to Making It YouTube channel. It's Warren, aka Bryce, and I'm here today with the inaugural edition of the Here's to Making It podcast. I'm here with two of my closest friends, and I'll let them go ahead and introduce themselves right now, starting with Ian.
Yes, sir. My name is Ian. I'm Warren's day one. I'm excited for this podcast.
What up? Same here. My name is Kalel. Cypher's podcast, ready to get going.
All right, so I got a question for both of y'all to start it off. So, Kalel, I know we've been doing this, living on our own shit for a while, but for you, Kalel, answer this question starting with when you first moved to Exeter freshman year, and Ian, you talk about your experience now. How was y'all's first time adjusting to living alone?
I'll let Kalel
Mm,
go first.
all right, for sure. So I remember my first night, bro. I remember my first couple nights, and in all honesty, people think about getting homesick. I never really experienced that. In all honesty, like I love my family, but I've always been able to be independent and kind of live on my own. I did it during COVID, like the height of COVID, so we weren't really able to socialize, and you had to do all that social distancing and stuff. But I made it through. Um, I'm not gonna lie, like when I think about doing it for the first year, it was a very weird year, and so I think that kind of skews my perspective on it. But I made it through. So
That's facts.
For
Yeah, I know
me,
I've never really been homesick before. That's facts. What about you, Ian?
it was like kind of opposite. Like I wasn't used to it because I've been with my parents like all my life. But when I first like moved to college by myself, like I call my parents every day. But then you told me like go outside. Like you told me to like actually like meet some people, and then it was easy.
Oh,
Like
Ian, tell them
once
that
you put
story
the
about the first day, bro. Tell them that story about the first day.
bro, the first day was the craziest. So basically, I was like losing it. Like I was in my room, like I didn't want to go outside. Like I didn't know how it was gonna be. I was nervous. It was my first day of college, and I called you. I was like, "Yo, like this is weird, man. Like I've never been like this before. Like what am I supposed to do?" And you're like, "Just go outside, go meet people." So when it met people, and the next thing you know, like I had tons of friends. So for me, like when you first like move out or you first like go somewhere by yourself, just put yourself out there. Try to meet people because when you meet people, like and you can have connections and form great friendships that can last you a lifetime.
Yeah, that's very true. I know for me, living on my own for the first time, I'm kind of in the middle between Kalel and Ian's answer because Kalel started living alone starting freshman year of high school. Ian, freshman year of college. I started living alone sophomore year of high school. So I want to say I was about 15, 16 maybe. And when I started living on my own, it was kind of the same as Kalel. I wasn't really homesick. I was like very happy to be away for the first time. I just knew that the school aspect of where I was at was just very difficult and that it was just gonna it was just gonna wear me out over 3 years of dealing with something like that. But even then I would rather deal with that than be back home. So I was very happy to be back like at living on my own.
See. All right, so I got a question for you, Warren.
Yeah.
When is the album coming out, bro? When is the album coming out? Like,
no
is there
cap.
a new album coming out? I'm interested.
That's a great question. So for all of y'all wondering who are watching the video right now, I do have a new album that's gonna come out pretty soon. Actually, it's called the Venice Tapes because I'm living in Venice, California. I'm in college for the first time right now. So it's really about my experiences living in Cali in just a perfect paradise environment. And I want all of y'all to hear a song on that album, and I want everyone to be able to relate to something. So it's actually gonna come out January 1st. So for all of y'all with y'all's New Year's resolutions, I want y'all to hear that, and I really want y'all to stand strong in those resolutions after hearing my album. And the first singles are gonna actually come out in 5 days. So y'all be ready for that. I'll drop the links in my Instagram link in the description.
So,
So this is goes specifically to Warren, and just given the fact that we were doing this boarding school thing together throughout high school, and he's been removed for it for a decent amount of time now, pretty much. I want to say like almost a year at this point, 9 months,
Almost
almost
a
a year.
year.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you've been removed from this boarding school stuff for a while. So What would you say are the biggest differences between doing boarding school and then doing real life, doing college?
I would say the biggest difference is honestly just free time. Like you have more time to do the things you enjoy. Like I know you can relate. Like when you get back from practice or maybe class and you want to maybe play the game or watch a show and you have so much work to do. Like that's at least for me. Like I don't know. It depends on the level of like the college you go to, how prestigious the school is. But me right now, I'm at a 2 year school, so the workload is pretty light, especially compared to a school that's ranked #1 right now. So it's like the workload doesn't really compare. So I have a lot of free time and I get to go out and enjoy myself more. So I feel like I'm really coming out of my shell socially. So I feel like that's the biggest difference. Because I didn't used to go outside.
Yeah, no cap. Yeah.
All right, so now I got a question for y'all too. Then, what was y'all's reaction when y'all both heard my music for the first time?
I got this one, bro. When I first heard your music, I knew it was gonna be heat, man. Like, if y'all don't know, me and Warren go way back, and the type of stuff like he was talking about, he manifested. Like from right where he is right now, when his music first dropped, he manifested that stuff. And when I first heard it, like it changed my life. And it was just so dope to hear like you just talking about your life, man. Like I feel like your music is so relatable. Like I can relate to everything you're saying. And then like sometimes you shout us out, which is dope too. But like it's heat, man. Like just the way your voice is, the different flows you got. I really enjoy your music.
Appreciate you, bro.
No cap. No, it's funny because I don't remember the exact like that exact first day that I heard your music, but something that always sticks out to me is just your voice. And you're hearing your voice singing is definitely something that was like, yo, like that changed my life.
That's facts. My voice is hella raspy.
Shit was dope. Hey, the original, hey, I gotta put y'all on. Beach Boy is the best album, bro. I'm sorry. I gotta say it. Beach Boy is it for me. Like that's the day one album. If y'all haven't listened to it, listen to it. It's good.
Yeah. Ian was really spitting about that manifestation stuff, y'all, because sophomore year of high school, I manifested being in LA in a song, and it's happened now. And it's just like, for those of y'all who really want something, just manifest it and really believe in it. And especially those of y'all who are religious, I don't want to push anything on y'all, but for those of y'all who are wondering, I'm Christian personally. So I feel like, especially if y'all believe in God, manifestation is definitely something y'all should start getting into.
I feel that. So what's the transition been for you moving to California? Like, has it been smooth? Like, what's it been like?
It's been too smooth. It's felt like a dream. Like I think I've been in Cali since like June now, and it's just now starting to like feel real. Like it didn't really feel real when I first got there because I never really thought it would be something that would happen. It was just kind of a dream, like where oh, I really want this to happen, but I didn't really expect it to. So for a while, it was like seeing a star for the first time. You're starstruck. So it kind of felt like that. But now that I'm kind of getting used to it, like even today, I was walking to the store and I was looking at the palm trees and the sun setting, and I was like, damn, there's really no way that this is actually where I live. Like every day, I have an experience like that. So I feel like I'm starting to get used to it, but I'm not completely adjusted just yet. What about you? How was your adjustment? San Antonio, moving back, big city.
Yeah, because actually, me and Warren met in San Antonio. So me coming back, it kind of brought back old memories. But it's been good, man. Because, well, right now, Warren and I, like, our parents are at the same place right now in a small town. But going back to the big city, it's really crazy because like there's so much stuff to do. You're able to meet so many more new people, and there's way more experiences you can have. So I always recommend. I like the big cities. I mean, because there's more stuff you can do, and there's like a lot of like new experiences you can get.
That's facts. Kalel, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What would you say to any student who's looking at Exeter to be a potential student?
Yeah, for sure. So, Exeter right now, I think we're say that we're ranked #1 school in the nation, at least for private schools. And so, that is something that, for those it can look you can see that and it can look like, wow, like I need to go to Exeter, like this is an opportunity that I need to capitalize on. I think it's also important to note that, Exeter is not for everybody. Like this school can eat you up depending on what type of person you are. And so making sure that you're very confident in yourself, knowing that you're gonna want to work hard consistently, knowing that you're gonna be able to handle the pressure that comes with being at this school. That's something that you're gonna really have to be like, yo, like I can handle this before you go in and you go to the school. And that is if like you get into the school for that matter, because it is a very competitive application process. So yeah, man, like make sure you know, make sure you know, make sure you know yourself decently well enough to the point where you know that you're not gonna be folding under the amount of pressure that you'll be experiencing while over here.
That's very true. That's very true.
So Warren, like growing up, like what was your childhood like, man? Like what was it like? Because I bet your fans don't really know what it was like growing up in San Antonio, or well, where like give the fans like a little bit of background, bro.
I'll give y'all a little quick rundown. So I was born in Houston, Texas. Shout out all my people in Texas. That's that's definitely home to me. So I was born in Houston, Texas, and then I want to say when I was about 3 or 4, I moved to St. Louis, Missouri, and then I moved back to Houston actually, and then I moved to San Antonio in middle school. No, in 4th grade, I moved to San Antonio, and that's where I met Ian. And at the time, me and him were going to separate elementary schools, but ever since middle school, that's when we really locked in. That's when we really tapped in. Yeah. And then I remember my 8th grade year. After my 8th grade year, I went to Exeter summer, and that's where I found out about Exeter. And I just loved it so much, and I thought it was going to be just like that, which is why I applied to Exeter. And I actually didn't get in because I wasn't focusing on my grades like I needed to in extracurriculars and stuff like that. So then 9th grade year, I really tapped in and locked in with myself and got in my purpose, started working out, got big, my grades got good, and everything just went really well. And I was blessed with the opportunity to attend Exeter my sophomore year forward. So from there, I lived by myself in Exeter since I was 15 or 16. And after that, I graduated, and now here we are in Cali. We're in college right now in Cali. But
That's
that's
dope.
the little quick rundown. Y'all definitely get more details about that in future videos.
But what would you say is the hardest thing about doing high school, doing Exeter specifically?
Doing Exeter specifically, it's definitely the work. Like I don't know, like I know I heard it from every single person I talked to at Exeter. They told me about the work, but for some reason I didn't believe them. I didn't think it could be that bad. But for those of y'all who thought like I used to think, trust me, it can be that bad. It can definitely be that bad. So just like know what you're getting yourself into. It's not impossible by any means. It just takes a lot of dedication and perseverance and grit. So for those of y'all who feel like y'all have that and y'all have those qualities, Exeter may be the school for y'all. And for those of y'all who feel like y'all might not have that, maybe Exeter isn't the school for y'all. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I know people going to Ivies in places who didn't go to Exeter, who went to public schools. You can go anywhere from anywhere. It's really about who you are, not where you went.
No cap. I think another thing too, just based off of my experience too, is that man, get used to taking L's over here too. Like something that was
That's
big for
fact.
me is that when I was in middle school, I wasn't really used to like getting lower than the A, honestly, like in an academic subject. And then like it's like sports were always going pretty well for me. And then I got over here, I'm going against I'm pretty much competing against kids who have been doing the math Olympiad since they were young. That's not something I never really was doing. Just doing different academic things that I wasn't really focused on as a kid. I was focused on other things. And then from a sports realm, I'm playing against 20-year-olds as a 14-year-old kid, having to go against and compete against them. And so something that was definitely an adjustment for me was kind of having to deal with not always being the best in my field and having to learn and having to grow. And then even right now as a senior about to graduate, like there are always opportunities for me to grow. Like I cannot say that I'm the best in every field that I'm in at this school as of right now. So yeah, make sure you get used to taking a lot of L's and make it and not really considering them L's per se, but thinking of them as growing moments and thinking of them as moments for you to learn and moments for you to think about how you can approach things differently or how you can approach things better.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning moment, I'd say.
I feel that. I got a question for you, Warren.
Yeah.
So, as like a music, like a producer of music, and you make music, like what's your process? Like, do you just talk about stuff that happens to you, or do you make a career off reminiscing, or like, do you like what is your process?
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit of everything you said. I feel like for me, I'll kind of start from the beginning of my process. I go on YouTube and I look for beats or I look for samples that I want to build beats off of. And once I find a sample or I find a beat, then I like to get in a good mood, whether that be through one thing or another. I like to get in a good mood where I'm really locked into the music. And then once I do that, I'd say there's very few songs that have ever taken me like more than like maybe 30 or 40 minutes to record. Like
That's crazy.
I can get lyrics out really quickly, and so I'd say that I finished the way that most of my albums work. And Ian and Kalel have seen me go through the processes of making multiple albums. Like I'll finish an album in like a week, and then I'll just leave all the little shit to do for like a year, and then I'll just touch up on the little stuff and just release it. So a lot of my albums have taken me over a year to put out, even though they've only taken me like a week to make, which is ridiculous. But that's just everyone has their different way when it comes to music. Everyone's musical process is different. So that's just me. So I make music very quickly, but it takes me a while to finalize it and get it to a studio level. That's it.
Mm.
I got a question for you, Khalil. Like, I know you're a senior in high school, and I'm sure some of Bryce's fans are younger. What do you have as advice for like, because you're like all the way up there. You're at Exeter. You're gonna go to a good college. Like, what advice do you have for like young kids just trying to make it out, like just trying to like do better for themselves? What's your advice?
Yeah, I think for me, some things that really been pushing me. I think I've been through a lot of different challenges during my time over here, and I think some stuff that I've, at least some like sayings, at least to myself, and some kind of habits that I've kind of kept to myself that have helped me throughout is stay competitive, always persevere, and yeah, don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. I think that's honestly that last one is one of the bigger ones. Again, kind of talking about um kind of the challenges I faced over here. Like I haven't always been the best as I would like to say I was in middle school, but just taking certain moments and taking the opportunities that I wasn't the best to learn and to grow and to work harder, stay competitive, persevere even more. That's helped me to get to the point where I'm at right now.
I got a
You
question
know,
for you, Ian.
What's up?
For your first time college experience, I'm sure a lot of people who are maybe applying to colleges or their first time students just like you, how's the experience with girls in college, man? How is it?
Hey, we'll get into this on future episodes, but I'll give you a little details because I know we all got stories. But for me, always just put yourself out there, man. Like always shoot your shot. Like if you don't shoot, you don't score, man. Like always put yourself out there and then just be nice to them, man. Try to relate to something they have. But for me, my experience, it's been pretty good. I've had a girlfriend for my first semester. It's been pretty good. It's a lot of work though. Relationships are a lot of work, guys. If you're not ready for a relationship, don't get in one. But I mean, there's a lot of fish in the sea. Don't get focused on one girl. Like always, if you like that girl, stay focused. But like sometimes you might have to do a future and like mix it up sometimes. But like for me, I've been staying focused. And yeah, my girl comes over sometimes and we chill. But for the most part, it's been a big eye-opening experience, man. Like girls are very interesting individuals, and I'm sure y'all know about that.
They are, man. I'll put in my little 2 cents for those of y'all who think that maybe there's a girl out of your league or oh, I don't know, it's too much work, blah blah blah. Like shit like that. Like it's really all a mindset because you have to realize that they're human just like us. They bleed just like us. They breathe, they shit, they sleep just like us. They're humans at the end of the day. And I know I can't personally talk about my experience going to college for the first time and think about girls because I was thinking on how you look at it, fortunate or unfortunate enough to have a girlfriend by the time I was already in college. So I didn't get that first time experience, but I'm very happy that it worked out the way it did for me. But for those of y'all who don't have a girlfriend going into college, just don't get your hopes too high and don't keep your hopes too low. I'd say keep it right in that middle range. But yeah, there's less than a minute left on the podcast, y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the outro real quick. I appreciate all of y'all who watched to the end. For those of y'all who didn't, thank you for just clicking on the page. For those of y'all who did make it to the end, make sure you click the like button, subscribe, and send it to your friends, shit like that. Ian, Kalel, I appreciate y'all taking time to be on the podcast, and I'll see y'all for the next episode.
Let's go.
All right, peace out,
For
y'all.
sure.